So my family put together a mystery box of ingredients and challenged me to make something with these ingredients. I have no idea what's in here. We're gonna look at it and figure it out together. And whatever's in here, I'm gonna eventually make into dinner. So let's check it out. All right, so we have Rey del Arroz Spanish paella rice. I'm pretty sure I have a clue what my family wanted me to make. Some uncured Spanish chorizo, Spanish smoked paprika powder, and saffron. So looks like we're making paella for dinner tonight. Let's do this. So before we actually start anything, we are going to bloom our saffron. Saffron is known for being one of the most expensive herbs in the world. So we're not going to use a whole lot, just a small pinch here. And what we're trying to do is just bring out the color, the flavor of this herb without overpowering the meal. Put some in there, bloom it in some hot water. And we'll let that do its thing while we prepare the rest of the meal. All right, let's start chopping our vegetables we're gonna need. We're gonna start with about half of a Spanish onion. And we want this kind of small. So we're gonna give it a rough chop real quick after we peel it. And let's give this a quick dice. And if you're unsure how to chop an onion like I am, I've got a YouTube video for you. I'll link that in the description so you can figure out how to chop an onion 3 different ways actually. And that looks pretty good, so let's go ahead and put this in a bowl, because we're definitely going to be using all of this in a little bit. Let's do the same thing with our bell peppers. Chop those up. I'm only going to use about 2 slivers, 2 sides if you want to call it that. And let's get these in a bowl. And while our vegetables are getting chopped in that, I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my pan to medium-high heat. All right, let's get this party started. Pan is warm, not too crazy hot. Let's add our chorizo in there. All right, we want this to just kind of melt into the pan. And actually, we don't want it to melt into the pan. We want it to release its fat and render into the pan. We don't want that actually burning into the pan. Gonna add a little bit of olive oil here. We're just gonna give that a good mix. Chorizo's rendered a lot of its fat out, so we are gonna take that out and start cooking some of our other ingredients. I didn't do this on camera, but I actually have some boneless, skinless chicken thighs, as well as some shrimp that we're gonna add to this after. And look at that, juicy chicken thighs. And because we have a lot of the fat from the sausage, from the chorizo, we don't need to add any more oil. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I haven't put any salt in this. That's because a lot of the ingredients that we're using, like the Spanish chorizo, already has salt in it. And we're trying to watch the sodium intake. So we'll leave that out. Remember, in the kitchen, it's all about heat control. Chicken's done. Let's get that in. All right, let's toast our vegetables in here. Start with our onion. Get Get our peppers in there. And let's stir these up. And get the heat up higher. And let's get these browned and toasty. And while we're at it, get our garlic in there. Onions are pretty much sweated out with the peppers. Now, a paella is not complete without some good Spanish paprika, which is one of those secret ingredients that my family put into that box. So it's gonna give it a real deep red, rich color. And let's add our chorizo back in there, along with our chicken to get all those flavors of the paprika and the vegetables. And if you guys remember, we have that saffron water that I bloomed all those saffron leaves in there. So let's pour that in there. That's gonna give it a real nice color and flavor. And that stuff's pretty damn expensive. We're not wasting that. And at this point, let's go ahead and add some tomato paste. Good old fashioned tomato paste. Probably should have got a spoon. Can you grab me a spoon, too? And we're gonna add our tomato paste in there. That's pretty good. And let that melt in the pan. Ooh, that got me. Some crushed tomatoes, let's get that in there. Not the whole thing, just enough. And at this point, we're pretty much good to go with everything. We should go ahead and start adding our rice, the star of the show. I got 2 cups of bomba rice here. It's Spanish rice specifically made for paella. And if you take a look at each one of these individual grains, it's not your typical long grain rice. It's real short, real stubby. Never mind, I said that. And it will absorb about four times its volume in liquid. So we're just gonna kind of mix that in there. And at this point, we are gonna take some chicken stock and just pour enough in there to cover everything. We wanna make sure the rice and everything is submerged. Make sure everything is covered. We are gonna let this cook for about 15, 20 minutes like this, uncovered. When the liquid starts to evaporate, what we'll do is we'll add some more hot broth, little by little, for the next 15 minutes or so, just so that the rice starts poking out, and then we should be ready to eat some good paella. You can start seeing some of the rice pop out there, so we're gonna take some more broth, just a little bit more, and let that keep cooking. So I too have a special ingredient. We're gonna add some shrimp. So we're gonna let this cook for another 5 or 7 minutes or so. So the more that liquid gets soaked up and the rice just gets all that flavor, we're gonna add just a little bit of salt to those shrimp. So this has actually been cooking probably close to about 30 minutes. The last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take a couple of, just a small handful of peas, and we're gonna throw those on top and let them fall to the dogs. And we're just going to loosely cover this and let it steam. And at this point, the heat is pretty much off. We're gonna let it steam for about, I don't know, 10, 12 minutes. Should be ready to eat. Okay, let's take a look, see what she looks like. Ooh, look at that. So before we plate this, we're just gonna put a couple of lemons here, because this is what a paella is really supposed to look like. Throw some herbs on there. Done. A perfect paella. So let's plate it up. What everybody fights for in Spain in a paella is the bottom, which is called the socorrat, which is the burnt pieces of rice against the pan. And that too is my favorite part. You can hear that crust coming up. Oh, look at that. That's exactly what we want. Let's get another one here. Shrimp, pork. I got all the habitats in here. I'm gonna go ahead and hit mine with a little bit of, I just broke the lemon. And let's take our first bite. That socorrat, if you could take a look at that. And here we go. I got a bite of that sausage. Rice is not dry. Crispy bits, a little bit of shrimp, lemon, paprika. Perfect dish. All in one pot. So let me know if you make your own paella. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like for me to make next, or even better, send me a mystery box and see what I can cook up for dinner with your ingredients. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the best conversations happen when we break bread with great people. I'm about to go break bread with my family over a dish that we made. On that note, we'll see you guys next time. Buen provecho.